Here is what nobody tells you about the men who always seem to come out on top. They are not smarter than you. They are not luckier. They are not more connected. They simply stopped doing the things that signal weakness and started doing the things that signal control. No begging, no chasing, no explaining themselves to people who are never going to understand anyway. Thomas Shelby did not inherit that discipline. He forged it in conditions that would have broken most men completely. You do not have those conditions. You have no excuse left. 9 habits, starting right now. Habit 1. Always speak last, not first. Most men are terrified of silence. The moment there is a pause in a conversation, they rush to fill it with words, with explanations, with justifications nobody asked for. They talk themselves into bad deals. They talk themselves out of respect. They talk because silence feels like losing. There is a different kind of man, the kind who walks into a room, sits down, and says nothing until saying something actually matters. You have probably felt the weight of that kind of silence before. It is not awkward. It is not empty. It is a weapon. Watch how Thomas Shelby conducts a negotiation. He does not open by listing his demands. He does not fill the air with pleasantries to make the other person comfortable. He sits. He watches. He lets the other side talk. And while they talk, they reveal everything. Their insecurities, their leverage, their fear. And then when he finally speaks, every word lands like a verdict, not a suggestion. This is not a personality trait. This is a trained discipline. You do the exact opposite every single day without realizing it. You over-explain your decisions to people who did not ask for an explanation. You justify yourself to individuals who have not earned the right to judge you. You send the follow-up text when the first one was enough. You repeat your point louder when the room did not respond the way you wanted. Stop. All of that is noise, and noise signals desperation. The habit of speaking last is built on a simple understanding. Information is power, and the person who speaks first gives away more information than the person who listens. When you speak impulsively, you show your hand. When you wait, you collect cards. Start practicing this in your daily conversations. Before you respond, take 3 seconds. Not 3 seconds to think of what to say. 3 seconds to decide if anything needs to be said at all. In meetings, let others go first. In arguments, let the other person exhaust themselves. In negotiations, state your position once, clearly, and then stop talking. The man who speaks least is almost always the man who is heard most. Not because he is mysterious, because he is precise. Every word he uses costs him something, so the words carry weight. You want to be taken seriously? Then take your words seriously. Habit 2. Make decisions without apology. There is a specific kind of paralysis that destroys men before they ever get a chance to build anything. It is not fear of failure. It is the need for approval before taking action. You will see it in men who ask 5 different people for their opinion before making a basic choice. You will see it in men who delay commitments because they are waiting to see how other people react. You will see it in men who apologize for decisions they have already made, as if retroactive guilt cancels out the discomfort of being decisive. Thomas Shelby does not operate this way. He makes his decision alone, in private, and then he moves. Not because he has no doubt. He has doubt. He makes the decision anyway, and he never, not once, asked someone else whether the decision was okay after the fact. This is what cold actually means. Cold does not mean emotionless. It means you do not let emotion hold your decision hostage. The habit here is this. You make a decision when the information is sufficient, not when the fear is completely gone, because the fear never completely disappears. Men who wait for certainty before deciding are men who let circumstance make decisions for them. Think about the last time you delayed something important, a conversation you needed to have, a job you needed to leave, a boundary you needed to draw. You had the information, you knew what needed to happen, but you waited for a better moment, for more data, for someone else to go first, for the universe to send you a sign that you would not be judged for what you were about to do. That waiting cost you time. That waiting cost you position. That waiting cost you respect, including your own self-respect. The man who makes decisions without apology does not make better decisions than everyone else. He simply makes decisions faster, and then he commits to them fully. Commitment after a decision creates the conditions for the decision to succeed. Doubt after a decision creates the conditions for it to fail. Start making smaller decisions immediately. Where to eat, where to leave, what to say. Do not deliberate. Do not consult. Decide and move. Build that muscle until it is automatic. Then bring it to the bigger things. Your finances, your relationships, your direction. The world does not reward the man who thought about it the longest. It rewards the man who moved first and adjusted as he went. Decide, commit, move. No apology. Habit 3. Controls your environment, not reactions. Most people believe self-control means controlling how you react to what happens to you. That is the weak version. The strong version is this: you control what you expose yourself to in the first place. Thomas Shelby does not walk into rooms he has not already mapped. He does not sit with his back to the door. He does not attend meetings without knowing who else is attending. He does not allow chaos into his proximity without choosing it deliberately. He is not reacting to his environment. He is constructing it. You are a direct product of the environment you allow around you. The conversations you participate in, the people you eat with, the information you consume daily, the energy you tolerate in your home and your workspace. All of it shapes your thinking, your standards, and your decisions, whether you are conscious of it or not. The reason most men stay average is not lack of intelligence. It is low-quality environments. They never bother to change. They complain about their city but never leave. They complain about their circle but keep attending the same gatherings. They complain about their habits but never alter the conditions that produce those habits. You cannot grow beyond your environment. You can only grow to the ceiling it sets. The habit is this: audit your environment every month. Look at the 5 people you speak to most. Look at the content you consume most. Look at the physical spaces you occupy. Ask yourself honestly, is this environment producing the version of me I am trying to build? Or is it producing the version everyone else is comfortable with? Cut what does not belong. Not with drama, not with announcements. Just stop showing up. Stop responding. Redirect your time and energy into environments that demand more from you. Build a workspace that signals work. Build a social circle that signals growth. Build a daily input system. Books, conversations, podcasts that signals the level you are aiming for. Thomas Shelby understood something most men never grasp. The man who controls the room controls the outcome, and controlling the room starts before you ever walk into it. It starts with choosing which rooms you enter at all. Control your environment. Your reactions will follow. Habit 4. Never explains your moves to people who don't matter. Here is a behavior that silently destroys the credibility of otherwise capable men. The compulsive need to explain themselves to people who have no authority over their life. You make a choice, someone raises an eyebrow, and immediately, before they have even said anything, you are already constructing your justification. You explain why you did it. You list your reasons. You offer context nobody asked for. You are essentially standing in front of someone who did not give you a grade and asking them to give you a passing mark anyway. Thomas Shelby answers to a very short list of people, and that list does not include strangers, distant relatives, social media comments, or anyone who has not earned a seat at his table. When he makes a move, he makes it. When someone questions it, who has no right to question it, he simply does not respond. Not because he is arrogant, because he understands that explaining yourself to the wrong audience is a form of surrender. Your decisions are not up for public review. Your choices do not require a committee. And the moment you start treating every skeptic like a legitimate judge, you hand them power they do not deserve. This is especially true in the digital age. You post something, someone challenges it, and instead of letting it sit, you write 3 paragraphs defending your position to someone whose opinion has zero actual impact on your life. You've just spent 20 minutes of energy on a person who will forget about you in 20 minutes. The habit is this: develop a very clear sense of who you are actually accountable to. Write that list if you have to. Your partner, your business partner, your mentor, maybe 2 or 3 more people at most. Those are the people who get explanations. Everyone else gets your results, not your reasoning. When you stop explaining yourself to people who do not matter, something powerful happens. You start making decisions based on what is actually right, rather than what is easiest to defend. You stop diluting your choices to make them palatable to a crowd that was never going to understand them anyway. Say less, deliver more. Let the outcome speak. Habit 5. Detach from the outcome without detaching from the work. This is the habit that separates professionals from amateurs, and this is deeply misunderstood. People here detach from the outcome and think it means not caring. It does not. It means you do the work at the absolute highest level you are capable of, and then you release your grip on how it lands. You cannot control how people respond. You cannot control market conditions. You cannot control market conditions. You cannot control timing, but you can control the quality and the consistency of your input. Thomas Shelby did not become who he became by hoping things would work out. He planned obsessively, executed relentlessly, and then adapted when the result was not what he anticipated. He did not collapse when a plan failed. He did not celebrate so long when it succeeded that he lost momentum. He moved to the next problem, that detachment from outcome, while remaining ferociously attached to the work, is what allowed him to sustain his empire across years of warfare, betrayal, and loss. You probably operate with this completely backwards. You detach from the work, doing just enough, leaving things half-finished, not really going all in, and then you are emotionally destroyed by the outcome when it does not deliver. You did not give it everything, but you expected everything in return. That is not strategy. That is gambling. The habit is this: build a process you can fully commit to and fully control. Then execute that process every day without emotional attachment to the daily scoreboard. You do not check your results obsessively. You do not adjust your strategy based on one bad day. You do not quit because the first 3 attempts did not work. Detachment from outcome also means you do not beg for results. You do not follow up 17 times hoping a deal comes through. You do not constantly seek validation that your work is landing. You send the proposal. You make the pitch. You have the conversation. And then you let it breathe, because desperation is visible and it repels exactly what you are trying to attract. The man who is detached from outcome has a quiet confidence that men who are obsessed with outcome can never manufacture, because the confident man knows his process is sound, he knows his work is good, and he knows that if this particular outcome does not materialize, the next one will, because the process that produced this opportunity will produce another. Trust your process. Execute it completely. Release the rest. That is not passivity. That is precision. Habit 6. Never chase. Not people, not validation, not situation. Chasing is one of the most expensive habits a man can have. Not in money, in energy, in dignity, and in the time you never get back. Chasing looks different depending on the context. In relationships, it is the repeated text after silence. It is rearranging your schedule for someone who does not rearrange theirs for you. It is tolerating behavior you have clearly communicated is unacceptable because the alternative is losing access to that person. In business, it is discounting your rates to people who are never going to value your work at full price anyway. It is following up on proposals so aggressively that the other party begins to feel hunted rather than wooed. In social situations, it is trying to force connection with a room that has already decided how it feels about you. Here is the truth about chasing. It accelerates the very outcome you are trying to prevent. The more you chase, the faster the thing moves away, because chasing signals scarcity, and scarcity in a man reads as desperation, and desperation destroys attraction, personal, professional, social. Thomas Shelby does not chase. He positions. There is a fundamental difference between those two things. Positioning means you place yourself correctly, you build value, you make it rational for the right people and the right opportunities to come toward you. Chasing means you abandon your position and run after things that were never moving toward you to begin with. The habit is this: identify every area of your life where you are currently chasing and stop. Full stop. Not gradual reduction. Stop. Replace the energy you are spending on chasing with energy spent on building. Build your skills. Build your outputs. Build your reputation. Build your standard of living. Become a version of yourself that does not need to chase, because the right things are attracted to what you have built. This is not about being cold toward people. It is about being clear on your value. A man who knows his value does not discount it. A man who does not know his value chases people to confirm it for him. You do not need confirmation from people who are not pursuing you in the first place. Stop chasing. Start building. Let what is meant to come, come. Habit 7. Use silence as a tool, not a default. There is a version of silence that is passive. It is the silence of a man who does not speak because he has nothing to say, or because he is afraid of what will happen if he does. That silence communicates nothing useful. It simply occupies space. Then there is the other kind, the silence of a man who is choosing, deliberately, not to fill the air with noise. This silence has intent, it has pressure. It creates a specific kind of discomfort in the room that almost always works in his favor. Thomas Shelby's silence is not emptiness, it is weight. When he looks at someone without speaking, the silence does the work that 10 sentences cannot. It makes people question themselves. It makes them fill the void with admissions they were not planning to make. It makes them negotiate against themselves. It communicates that he is thinking, and that what he is thinking is more significant than whatever is being said out loud. The difference between the two silences is this. One is passive, one is active. Passive silence happens to you. Active silence is something you wield. The habit is to practice using silence as punctuation. After you make a point, stop. Do not rush to elaborate. Do not soften the statement with additions. Let the other person respond to what you actually said, not to the watered-down version you gave them because you were nervous about how it would land. In confrontations, silence is even more powerful. When someone is trying to provoke a reaction, the worst thing you can give them is the reaction they are looking for. Give them silence. Controlled, deliberate, completely unreadable silence. They will either escalate, which reveals everything about them, or they will back down. Silence is not weakness. It is the sound of a man who does not need to prove himself in real time. Learn to use it. Habit 8. Operate on a personal code, not public opinion. Public opinion is a moving target. It shifts based on who is speaking, what is trending, and what the majority mood happens to be on any given day. A man who bases his decisions on public opinion will spend his entire life changing direction without ever actually going anywhere. Thomas Shelby operates from a fixed internal code, not a moral code in the conventional sense, but a set of non-negotiable principles that govern how he moves, what he will and will not do, and what he considers a breach of his own standards. That code does not bend based on who is watching. It does not shift when the room disagrees. It holds. This is what makes him genuinely dangerous. Not the weapons, not the authority, not the power structure around him. It is the fact that he cannot be manipulated through social pressure. He does not need the room to agree with him. He does not need to be understood. He needs to be right by his own standard. And that standard does not require external ratification. You are surrounded by systems designed to make you care what people think. Social media metrics, performance reviews that prioritize likability, social circles where acceptance is contingent on agreement. These systems reward conformity and punish individuality. And if you are not operating from a clear internal code, these systems will write your code for you without your knowledge. The habit is to define your code explicitly, not in vague terms. Be honest, work hard, but in specific behavior commitments. What will you not tolerate in a business relationship? What personal standard do you hold that you will not drop regardless of the social cost? What do you do when no one is watching? Write it down, revisit it, hold yourself to it strictly, because the man who operates from an internal code is not vulnerable to the social pressure that manipulates everyone else. His direction is fixed, his standard is set, the crowd can move without him. Habit 9. Never loses your mind. There is a version of emotional control that is actually suppression. It is a man pretending not to feel things until the feeling becomes so compressed it explodes unpredictably. That is not discipline, that is a pressure cook. Then there is what Thomas Shelby demonstrates, which is not the absence of emotion, but the refusal to let emotion make decisions on his behalf. He feels. You can see it if you know where to look. But what you will never see is emotion in the driver's seat. Emotion informs him. It does not direct him. The specific habit here is this. You do not lose your mind when things go wrong. You lose your patience, and then you redirect it. Losing your mind means going reactive, raising your voice, sending the message you will regret, making the threat you cannot back up, making a decision at the height of your anger that you will be paying for at the depth of your calm. Every time you lose your mind, you give the situation power over you. You confirm to everyone watching that you can be destabilized, and a man who can be destabilized can be controlled. Losing your patience correctly means something different. It means you recognize that the current situation is not working. You make a cold assessment and you change the structure of the situation. Not because you are angry, but because you have decided calmly that you have been patient long enough and something must change. The habit is to build a consistent pause between stimulus and response. Something goes wrong. Someone does something that crosses a line, and before you respond, not after, before you ask yourself one question: what response here creates the best outcome for me? Not what response feels justified, not what response they deserve. What response actually serves your interests? More often than not, the answer is a quiet, decisive action rather than a loud, emotional reaction. Keep your mind. It is your most valuable asset. You have the information. What you do with it entirely up to you. 9 habits, 9 disciplines. None of them require talent. None of them require connections. Every single one of them requires only one thing: the decision to operate at a different standard than the average man around you. Thomas Shelby did not inherit discipline. He built it in the worst possible conditions. You do not have his conditions. You have no excuse. The men who never beg, never chase, and never lose are not born. They are built, one habit at a time, starting today.